I am an engineer and self-employed researcher. My name is Eric Zimmerman. My mission is to publicize the existence of the subtle energy of the universe. All the phenomena I show are true.
I show the science of the future.
I am part of a small number of scientists around the world.
Peter Guriev teleported the salamander's DNA. Nobel laureate Jean-Luc Montagnier teleported human genes. Guriev teleported the image. Montagnier teleported the likeness. Image and likeness were teleported in the form of subtle energy. In physics, we call subtle energy for energy that we cannot directly measure, but we observe its effects. I show that my genes emit subtle radiation, confirming Glenn Rain's finding that DNA is an antenna. I teleported my brainwave using the subtle energy of the universe, which I call cosmic energy. In the artificial telepathy I performed, the teleported wave contained pulses of brain electromagnetic energy and cosmic energy. Glenn Rain found that human DNA, when exposed to healer thinking, underwent topological change. This result confirms that in addition to emitting DNA, can also receive and decode the subtle energy responsible for the teleportation of the healer's brainwave. Associating these experiments, I came to the conclusion that it is possible to insert genes from one species into another without carnal relationship, without taking into account differences in the number of chromosomes between different species. The shocking conclusion required the presentation of more evidence. They exist. Peruvian tridactyl mummies have an average of 30% human DNA. The rest of the genome does not belong to our world, according to a genetic test carried out by a renowned Russian academy. The elongated skulls of Paracas and the island of Malta lack the sagittal suture typical of humans. Examination of Neanderthal DNA found that he does not belong to the human species. Black Africans interbred with Neanderthals in West Asia between 50 and 80,000 BC. According to geneticists, the Neanderthal was so similar to man that if he walked among us today he would not be identified. Fertile female hybrids spread the Neanderthal genes of fair skin and red hair in Asia. The fact that they are fertile means that the Neanderthal genome has a certain degree of chromosomal compatibility with humans. The result of Neanderthal DNA is surprising because until then man had only origin in Africa. There was no evidence that another intelligent species had emerged on the planet. The human genome is 98.7% the same as our chimpanzee and bonobo's cousins. The Neanderthal has an unknown genetic origin. The first point to note is that a more advanced civilization did genetic experiments in the past with humans, which resulted in tridactyl mummies and Paracas skulls, Maltese and Neanderthal skulls. I concluded that the Book of Genesis narrative is physically correct, and strongly suggests the insertion of genes from a more evolved species into another unevolved earthling species. The Sumerian account of the creation of man leaves no doubt as to the insertion of alien genes into a terrestrial creature. PhD Jean-Claude Perez, in a joint article with Nobel Montagnier, found the presence of the Fibonacci series in some genes responsible for human intelligence. Another article found the presence of magnetite crystals in human face bones. Scientists have not found an explanation for the fact, as so far there is no proof that our body is capable of creating this mineral. On the other hand, joining organic matter with this mineral is impossible for current chemistry. However, the wooden beams of Noah's Ark found in Turkey had traces of iron in their organic composition. John Hutchinson shows steel molten into wood resulting from exposure to the subtle energy of the universe, also known as Tesla energy. It is evidence that the quantum theory of molecular orbitals needs to be re-evaluated. One of Peru's tridactyl mummies has metal implants in its chest and hand. Experimental results. Archaeological findings, DNA tests, Jewish and Sumerian narratives suggest that we are intelligent hybrid beings. If we say that we are aliens, it is correct because a part of our genome has no known origin. If we say that we are Earthlings, it is also correct because a large part of our genome is primate. It is a great irony to note that the contact we want to make with aliens is already made between us. A small part of our genome does not belong to this world. But it was enough to endow us with intelligence far beyond what is needed just to provide food and procreation. Other species manage to solve small logical problems of feeding and reproduction. But we don't see them solving mathematical calculations or philosophizing. It is this alien portion that differentiates us from animals. Or rather, it must differentiate us from the irrational. Anyway, if in antiquity the aliens were called gods, then we are analogous to the children of the gods, because we have a part of the divine genome in our DNA. We can also say that God is within us. In an eternal blood relationship, it is plausible that some of the alien genes manifest themselves randomly through the paranormal and Asperger's syndrome. The reality I show in this video is not preaching atheism. Each person has the right to construct his or her own truth about the origin of man and establish whatever links he wants. It may be that by knowing and seeing the subtle energy of human genes exciting the leads, humanity will wake up from a millennial torpor. If we want to evolve, we can't have that old formed opinion about everything. Thank you for your attention.